The action is watched in the Andretti garage. Frank Montani running in 4th spot at the moment. Charles Pic has just done his personal best in the first sector, but he's 6 seconds behind Sam Bird. There's the order then on the left-hand side of the screen. Prost, Heidfeld, Di Grassi, Montani, Abt, Chanak and Bird covered by 8.7 seconds with only 4 laps to go. Nerves in the Venturi pit. They know they could win the first ever Formula E race, and what an event it would be for Venturi, the team that's been co-founded by Leonardo DiCaprio, the car manufacturer that hold the electric land speed record at 307 miles an hour. What a string to their bow it would be to win the first ever Formula E race.
I think all these teams have worked so hard, haven't they, to get here, to get to this point, that it would mean a lot to any of them here, and you can see how much it does. It'll be interesting to see Frank Montani can make some progress here, because he's dropped back just a wee bit.
Fastest final sector of anyone throughout the whole race for Nick Heidfeld. So he is starting to push with 3 laps to go. Nico Prost up in front of him. And as you say, Lucas Di Grassi and Frank Montani have just dropped back a little bit from these two. So maybe these two can afford to get a little bit more power in these remaining laps. We've got laps 23, 24 and 25 to go here in Beijing.
Just the million-dollar question, who's got slightly more battery power left? That's who's going to be able to push it, because as far as the handling of the cars and the performance of the drivers, they're very, very equal. It's who's just going to be able to turn it up just a wee bit, enough to make that pass, or in Prost's case, stay ahead.
Also, the pressure as well is going to be worth looking at. There's pressure as the father watches on. Alain Prost, 4 times Formula 1 world champion, and the Venturi guys enjoyed watching Prost under pressure. I think
who's ever seen that before? Alain Prost looking nervous. I don't think I've ever seen that in all those years I watched him racing.
Flashing through along Huqing Street, down towards the Quaichong chicane. Through the left, through the right, and out again. That was close.
Heidfeld there on the exit wall. That was, I think he overextended a wee bit through the middle.
Just under 9/10 of a second separating first and second place. We're about to start the penultimate lap of the race. It looks like it's going to be one of those two that will take victory. Lucas Di Grassi not looking great on power. Well, he's got just a bit more than his chaser Frank Montani.
He's right there.
Yeah, he's right with him as they come out onto the start-finish straight. Penultimate lap, just 0.6 of a second between our race leaders here in Formula E. One of these two men is going to go down in history as the first ever all-electric single-seater race winner, Nico Prost or Nick Heidfeld.
Didn't both these guys drive for Rebellion?
Yes, yes. In fact, were they not teammates this year when they won in LMP2?
They might be.
At Le Mans. So they know each other very well. They know their driving styles very well.
That could come into play here in a wee minute. We'll see what happens.
Out they come towards the chicanes again on National Stadium Road. The South National Stadium Road, and Heidfeld starting to push, isn't he? A bit of a bounce there. Nico Prost knows it because he's just gone purple in the first sector, which means he's fastest of anyone. Takuma Sato has just set the fastest lap of the race. So Sato might be in line to pick up those 2 points for fastest lap. But if the sun begins to set here in Beijing, the sun will set on one of these two drivers as the winner of the Formula E race.
Oh, Buemi's day goes from bad to worse.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing more that Sebastian Buemi can do. He is in the pits and out of the race, but his teammate Nico Prost has the chance to take victory for the EDAMS team. Out through the chicane again, towards 19. We've only got 1 lap to go.
He's going to try and set him up, isn't he? If you're Heidfeld, you're going to have to set him up and gradually gain on him through about 3 or 4 corners, probably trying to get him, maybe even in the last corner. It might come down to the last corner, the last lap here, setting him up the whole rest of the lap just to get close enough.
Down towards the final corner they come as we get ready to go for the penultimate lap. A lock-up on the left front from Heidfeld as he starts to push again. Well, I say starts to push, he's been pushing the whole race, but across the line they come. Is there any difference in the gap between them? No, still just 0.6 of a second. The Chinese fans have got all their smartphones and tablets at the ready to picture the moment that the first Formula E race is won here in Beijing.
If he's going to do a move, he's got to start getting closer just at this point of the lap. Coming out, probably actually out of the turn 13 chicane is when that move is going to really start sort of building. The cars are so close together, you can't just, you know, in terms of performance, you can't jump on them. You're going to have to build up to that move.
Through the left-hander of 6.
Prost was on the limit. Did you see the rear slide in there from mid to exit through that turn 6?
Really pushing hard, and these two guys have done a very good job of managing their battery. The fact that they've still got this sort of pace, whereas the likes of Di Grassi and Montani and Daniel Abt are all dropping back a little bit. But here we go, out through towards turn 14. There's only 3 corners to go. 3 corners separate Nico Prost and victory. Into the left-hander he comes now. All very neat and tidy, and Heidfeld's got a push.
They've done a brilliant job, these two, keeping the momentum up better than the other guys, using the momentum rather than using more battery power. And that, you know, conserving energy is one thing, but they've been driving the hell out of the cars all day.
Through the chicane. 2 more corners to go now in the FIA Formula E race here in Beijing. There's still just 0.6 of a second between first and second, but it looks as though Nico Prost may just have enough. He comes through turn 19, 1 turn to go. Heidfeld's closing in as they come towards the final corner at turn 20. Is Heidfeld going to fancy a look into the last corner of the race? Heidfeld goes to the inside line, and they make contact, and they're both off. And that's an accident for Nick Heidfeld. He has gone off the circuit. The 2 of them come together in the final corner, which means Lucas Di Grassi is going to take victory in the FIA Formula E race here in Beijing. A dramatic end to the race as Nick Heidfeld is pitched into the air after contact with Nico Prost. The Venturi team watching on, and what a dramatic end as the cars come across the line. Frank Montani finishing in 2nd for Andretti. It's 3rd for Daniel Abt, 4th for Sam Bird, 5th for Charles Pic. But a shake of the head from Alain Prost. There is Nico Prost out of the car, and he goes as if to say, what happened there? Takuma Sato set the fastest lap of the race, and there is Nick Heidfeld clambering out of his Venturi car.
It's good to see.
It's fantastic to see Nick Heidfeld climbing out. Not really the test we wanted, and I think we might have a bit of a conversation here between these two. And Nick Heidfeld not impressed with that.
Love to see that again, because they got alongside and then there was a big swerve in one direction or the other. Love to see a replay to see which one swerved at which there, because that was it was a great build-up to the move that we talked about.
It was all coming, wasn't it? It was all... Well, we got a climax here, but the victory was Lucas Di Grassi, who was many people's favourite for victory, probably not on the... did actually, so fair enough. Credit where credit's due. And so a dramatic end to the Formula E race here in Beijing. Here we go. This is on board, coming down towards the final corner. Heidfeld goes to the inside, and I mean that's
swerved at him. Yeah, that's
I mean, ideally we didn't want to put the crash structures on these Formula E cars to the test, but we have done. But I think there's very little debate about what happened there.
Yeah, Prost just swerved at him, which is a real shame. He drove a perfect race up until that point. And glad Heidfeld's okay. That's a little bit too familiar for me, that going up into the into the fence business there. But when a car gets airborne like that, there's more luck involved than anything. And to see both drivers come back is really good to see that.
So
great job by Di Grassi.
Yeah, Lucas Di Grassi is the race winner here in the FIA Formula E Championship, the first ever race in Beijing. Frank Montani is in 2nd place, so he got past. No, he was always in front of Daniel Abt in the closing stages, wasn't he? So he finishes in 2nd. The Venturi guys coming to speak to Nick Heidfeld, who understandably is furious. And there's Nico Prost walking back a little sheepish. So we may hear from them, but we'll certainly hear from our race winner Lucas Di Grassi when he gets back to the pits. 3rd for Daniel Abt, then 4th for Sam Bird, 5th for Charles Pic, 6th for Karun Chanduk, and there is the real wreckage of the Venturi car.
Good day for the Andretti guys, and of course the Abt guys. Both cars finishing up there in their cases.
So there's the story of the race, and Nico Prost looking very disheartened, and well, interesting to hear both of their sides of the story. Well, I think Heidfeld's side of the story we probably don't need to hear. From the one of fury.
Oh yeah, from the in-car it's clear, isn't it? Let's watch again from outside in case.
He checks to the right, he's not there.
No, I mean, that's just silly.
I mean, I do try to stay impartial at times, but
those curbs just sent that car into there. We've got to rethink that, because that happened at Spa as well. with the GP3 car. They've got to rethink these sausage curbs.
And here we go again into the final corner. And from Prost's point of view, what was you know, you just cover the inside line here? Is that all you can do?
You're thinking, oh no, here he comes.
Yes.
That's happened to me the last lap of the 500 a couple of years ago with Sato, but yeah, he just drove at him. Yeah, not good. It's the shape. Sometimes you've been passed and you've got to accept it. You know, you do your best to not be fast, but what can you do? I was real worried about Heidfeld there.
Yeah. Good to see Nick climbing out of the car, and Alain Prost with his head in his hands as well. It looked like he put his head in his hands as soon as the contact was made, and didn't sort of watch the rest of the accident by the looks of things.
Great safety there from the car.
But there is our race winner, Lucas Di Grassi, for the Audi Sport Abt Formula E team.